Welcome to the Swinging Lights. Today's guest is Max Karren. Max Karren's a longtime friend of mine. I actually met him years ago as we played in a band together called The Watches. Aside from being a phenomenal musician, Max owns and operates his own web developing company called Chuckwalla Design. If you want to see some of his abilities, you should check out his blog. His blog's called backobeyond.blog. On his blog, he gives hiking guides, backpacking guides, trip reports, tips on all sorts of things, gear reviews, first aid tips. It's just such a well put together blog. I actually go here often when I'm actually looking to buy new items. One of my favorite pairs of pants for everyday living and also for backpacking, hiking, I got from reading his blog. So I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. Max is a phenomenal person. I love hanging out with him. We've hiked all over the damn place together. We're getting ready to gear up to do another 200 miler this year. And I just really enjoyed having this conversation with him. He used to live in Utah, and he just recently moved out to Tucson, Arizona. So we don't get to see each other as often anymore. So this, being able to have this conversation and be able to share it with you is awesome. I really enjoyed this conversation. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Well, hello there, Max. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Justin?
I'm great, man. It's been too long. I miss you a lot,
Yeah, I miss you too.
but I
I'm
think we're
excited
both.
for our trip.
Yeah, man. What did Jason say it was gonna be? We're going backpacking in the Sierra Nevadas in August for 2 weeks. We're doing about 200 miles and some ridiculous amount of elevation gain and loss. How many?
Yeah, he said 27,000 the first week, and then the second week we're doing 28,000, which
Shit.
to put that into perspective, I said that's two Everests, and then Jason came back and he was like, well, actually, Everest is something like 11,000 or 14,000. I can't remember what he said, elevation gain because you start up higher. And so we're actually hiking Everest four times.
Holy shit.
It's going to be definitely the biggest hike that I've ever done.
Oh
I'm
yeah, for
excited.
sure.
I can't wait. I'm trying to get myself in shape. I don't know. I'm running out of time.
I just look at it as 15 miles a day, man. We can do it.
15 miles a day is doable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm to the point now where I can run 12 to 13 miles and it's fine. Like I don't feel like my body's going to totally break down. And
Yeah,
that's 2,000 feet elevation gain, I think, or 18, so it's not like I'm just running on flat road, but
right.
having a backpack on your back and that kind of elevation gain, it's gonna hand our asses to us. But we can do 15 miles a day, man. I think.
Yeah, I think I know we can do it as long as we don't get injured and as long as everything goes well. There's also weather. Like that's the thing I was thinking about. You know, we got to get up early and try and beat the storm systems that come through because a storm system can mean that you can't get over a pass. And the
Right.
passes out there they look like beasts, man. Because we're going over like 12, 13,000 foot passes.
Ugh.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I have this ability to commit to shit before I know like really what it entails,
I
and
like
then
that about
I'm too prideful to back out. But I think we'll make
you.
not backing out. I already committed.
I like how Matt was like, "Wait, which leg is like Everest?" Because
the
he's
whole
doing
thing,
the second week,
the whole
and
thing,
so
dummy.
there's no way out of it really. Even if you just do one week, it's gonna be hard.
Oh yeah. My only thing is I have to, I've got a certain amount of time off of work, so I got to get back to work on time, but as long as we can knock it all out in the time that I got off, I'm a happy dog, man. And
Cool.
the
I
all
gotta
the
ask you, are you gonna drive out in one go, or are you gonna stop on the way? Because I think your and my drive is pretty similar.
Yeah, how many hours is it? Haven't looked that
It's
up
like
yet.
12 or something.
I might just get up early in the morning, just knock it out.
Yeah,
So,
I
'cause
might do that. I don't know. I might also try and camp in Joshua Tree
that'd be
just
cool.
one night, but it's so hard to find camp spots there if you get there too late. So I'll probably get up pretty early and hopefully I can get there in time to get a spot.
Is there any
But I
like
might get there and be like, screw it, and just drive the whole way.
is there any like BLM land in that area you could just go park out on?
There's some land. I don't know if it's BLM, but this one time Kim and me went down there and we couldn't find a camp spot, and we did find a place to camp that was like off of a four-wheel drive road. I don't remember where it was exactly, and it's kind of out of the way,
Huh.
but it was cool. It was like a really beautiful view. Um, there were mountains all around, and it was like where the junipers start meeting with the Joshua trees. And I got a bunch of cool night shots. It was
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, you and Jason are getting pretty damn good with your cameras, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. I'm
You
still
bought a
trying to
camera
figure.
just recently, right?
Yeah, I got the Sony A6000, and that was based off of yours and Jason's recommendation for a good entry level
Cool, man.
um, camera. And I got like a pancake lens on it for landscape shots, and it's
Oh,
light
sweet.
to take backpacking. But I'm realizing I probably need to invest in some more lenses to do different shots that I'd like. I mean, where I
Yeah,
live, there's a lot of animals around, and I want to get some good shots, but I need something that can zoom in a bit because I don't want to get too close to some of these big animals, Those moose are they're scary, man.
yeah. You definitely, I mean, you want something that you can get tight on those animals with.
Oh yeah.
Probably a pretty big lens, maybe
Yeah, I
like
tried.
I don't know, 200 millimeter or something.
Yeah, that's where I start getting kind of like I don't know what's what. There's just too many options out there. So when I get the dough for it, I'll be hitting you guys up.
I know there's a lot. Yeah, so much
Oh,
money. Like, I think I want a lens like that too, because I see a lot of animals around here. Same thing, and a lot. Like, I want to be able to shoot hummingbirds and
oh yeah.
hawks. So I want a real telescopic lens, and those things are the good ones are gonna run you like 1,500, 2 grand at the very minimum. And you can spend a lot more than that.
Oh man, I think I
Just
have too
one
many.
more one more expensive hobby, but it's
I
so much
know.
fun.
I was thinking I already got too many damn hobbies. But the thing is, man, is when we go out backpacking and stuff, and just when I hike around through nature, it's like, it's cool to take the iPhone photos. It's convenient. But a
Yeah,
part of you really want, like, especially when you're hiking out, like, when we did the Trans Zion, I really wished I would have had like a real camera because there were so many just stunning views in that
yeah,
area. And, when we went to Wind Rivers before, the Uintas, just all these different places, like you're hiking out really far and you're seeing these things, and you may not ever hike out that way ever again.
right.
And the whole reason you're doing it is to see some of these things. Like, why aren't you bringing a good camera along? I remember when I was right when I graduated high school, my grandpa took me and my dad to Alaska. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that trip again ever. And I think I took like 10 photos on some fucking disposable piece of shit camera, dude. I got
Sure.
like I got like 5 photos to remember one of the most epic trips in my life, and I'm like, damn it, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. There's also, but at the flip side of it is sometimes if you're focusing so much on the photography element, then you're actually missing being in the present moment and just enjoying nature through your eyeballs.
Right, right.
So like it's kind of an interesting thing because you can get to a point where you're just shooting and you're going to get shots and it's like, are you really out there? Are you really
Right.
present?
Yeah, there's a happy medium I think you got to find. I mean, my last trip that we did when we went down to Harris Wash, my whole goal was to try to get like a night shot.
Mhm.
Epic fail.
Yeah, it always is your first time.
Everything was blurry. All the stars looked like remember those little things you'd stick the little plastic light bright? Is that what they were called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you have these little plastic pegs that you put in, and it's got all these slots,
Oh
so
yeah,
you can make any design you want, and then it lights
right.
up, right?
Yeah, I know about that thing.
That's how the stars looked. They were just like these globby, freaking blurry blobs of light. Looked like a light bright, without any pegs in, just the white coming through. uh,
Man, it took me a while to even get a halfway decent astro shot, and I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah, you don't realize how much goes into that. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I bought a camera because you can't get night shots on an iPhone at all. I mean, they just don't even work. So I was like, I want night shots, because every once in a while you're just like, God damn, look at all them stars, man.
Mhm.
And here we are, just floating on a marble in space. A little petri dish of our own, in the middle of who
Yeah,
the hell knows what. It's mind-boggling.
it
Um,
is.
so so what's the trick? Like Jason was trying to get me to focus in on the North Star. Is that the trick when you're doing like night shots when you're getting a time lapse, right? Like you want to
Yeah,
focus on something that's going to stay in the same place as you're doing a time lapse?
that's definitely one way to do it. That would be a really cool time lapse because then you kind of have a focal point and
Mm-hmm.
everything moving around it, just like you said. The other thing is like if you're trying to do star trails, I think
Mm-hmm.
focusing on that North Star is great too because then everything circles around it and it
Mm-hmm.
just looks cool. But yeah, I mean with your camera, the A6000, I had that for like 3 or 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I did get some night shots with it. I think if I remember right. And your camera looks and works very similarly to mine, so we'll figure it out. We'll get you a nice shot.
Cool. Yeah, I figure we'll have 2 weeks. I'll bring a couple batteries and some extra charging packs, probably. Maybe. We'll see what my pack weighs.
I know. I'm gonna bring extra batteries, and I've got a battery charger, and I'm thinking about maybe getting a solar panel at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make some really nice light fold-up ones now, don't they?
There's one that is the lightest solar panel that I could find, and I'm forgetting the name of the company that makes it. Um, I've been watching these through hiking videos on YouTube where these guys just kind of document their through
Mm-hmm.
hiking. And this one dude did the Arizona Trail, which is like 400 miles from Mexico to Utah. And he just kind of, like, real low key will tell you where he is throughout the day. And, like, you can literally just watch him walk for hours. And I'll put that on and I'll just work. But he has this solar panel that's like, I want to say it weighs 7 ounces, which is the lightest one I've been able to find. And it's got one USB port, or some of the ones I was looking at, like the Goal Zero ones, have like two. I don't need two.
No,
One's
you
fine.
don't.
And the only thing about it is you have, like, people, they want to throw it on the back of their pack and juice up their stuff while they're hiking. Because
Right.
if you hike all day, that's your best opportunity for sun, supposedly. But because a lot of times you're like hiking under trees and stuff, that's not a very great way to go because every time you go under a tree, your phone's going to stop charging. So it's just going to be like turning on, charging, stopping. So they say that what you want to do is put it in direct sunlight. So with this panel, even especially, they say that like you don't want to just be hiking around trying to charge stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
on the flip side, it's extremely light. So I think if I get one, it'll be that. I can't remember how much it costs. It's over 100.
Well, how long does it take to charge? That's the other question, because
Right.
like I have this little solar powered battery pack. It's small and you charge it before you leave, so it's fully
Yeah.
charged, and then you can charge your phone like 2.5 times off of it. But it also has a little solar panel. But if you were just
Sure.
leaving it out in direct sunlight to charge when it's totally empty, it takes like 12 to 20 hours, right?
Yeah.
So what I've been doing with it is I'll charge my phone, and then it only takes up a little bit of the juice from it, and then I will hike with it on my back, but I'm not having it plugged into my phone. Does that make
That's cool.
sense? So it'll
Yeah.
just and that's been working well when the sun's out. It seems to last most of my trips.
What's the unit called?
Oh shit, I'd have to find it. I just got it on Amazon. It was like it wasn't terribly expensive.
Do you know
I'll
how much
have
it weighs?
no. It was
Is
one
it
of my
heavy?
items. No, it's not super heavy. It was about the same weight as my other little block that I used to carry around all the time. Because
Gotcha.
I have this other one that you just charge once. But once it's
Yeah.
dead, it's dead. There's no option for it to recharge while you're out there.
Right.
And
That's
so I
what I have.
figured this one weighs the same or a little bit less, but it has the ability to like recharge itself.
That's compelling.
Yeah,
I like the idea of having it built into the battery
right.
because ultimately that's what I want to do is use the battery to gather the sun's rays and use that power.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
You'll have to send me a link to that.
Oh yeah, I will for sure. Um, Yeah, and then I think the only other thing, I mean, the kind of shitty part about this trip's gonna be that we have to bring them stupid bear cans, man.
I know.
Those things are just fucking heavy, and I don't know why. I just I don't like it, man.
They're bulky, they're stupid, but they are a chair.
That's true.
The whole time you can pull that thing out and sit on it, and otherwise you just got to deal with the ground or rocks. So it's kind of a nice luxury. That's
Yeah.
how I tell myself it's okay.
Oh, I don't buy into that shit. I'd ditch a chair any day of the week to save the weight. I'd just sit on a rock. I got more, and you're the same way, 'cause I've got probably a photo album of you using natural structures as seats and beds
Yeah.
from all the backpacking trips. 'Cause like, remember when we were doing the High Line, I'd look over and you just found some rock that's like a perfect lawn chair. And like, I was kind of like, God, this dude, everything he looks at is a piece of furniture.
Yeah,
That's good.
definitely. There's
Yeah,
especially when you get a nice rock that's like got some sun hitting it and it's
oh
warm.
yeah, absolutely. There was
That's,
only one or two moments of that on that whole 90-mile trail, right?
yeah,
Up in the Uintas, we had like two times where we were able to lay out in the sun. The rest, I think I was soaking wet and cold.
pretty much.
Oh man, we went back and did a 55-mile section of that. Kate and I.
Yeah,
Was it last year? I think it was last year, and we went in July, and it was mostly nice weather. It rained like once or twice on us, but it wasn't even that bad.
that sounds nice.
It was nice,
The
and it was
Uintas can be so sunny and nice, but most of the time it seems like you're gonna get some sort of storm activity.
well in the middle of the summer. It gets warm up there, and there's just so much water that it all evaporates. So you can almost bet on having some type of storm system coming through every afternoon.
Yep,
It sounds like that's what the Sierras are gonna be like.
probably. I don't know. I think they're a little drier than the Uintas,
That'll be
but
good. I just don't like being wet, man. Being wet for days on end, you just can't get like waterlogged, you know? I don't want to get
yeah,
waterlogged again.
that's rough.
That's what you do. Still, the worst day backpacking's better than the best day at work, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I've never regretted backpacking. Like I've never been like, oh man, I wish I hadn't gone.
Mm-mm.
It's always awesome.
It is awesome, man. And it's I don't know, it's just a good fun thing to do with your friends. Just get the hell away from everything. You're not like you know, preoccupied checking your phone and all that bullshit. You're just straight up trudging through nature, chit chatting. Sometimes you're not talking at all, just taking it all in. I
Yeah,
find it
man.
very meditative in a lot
Me
of
too.
ways as well.
It's really for me. It's the only time I can completely unplug because with what I do, like running my business, I rarely have moments of just complete like unplugging. I'm always
Right.
thinking about like, oh, I'm trying to get this client to sign a proposal, or I've got this project that's kind of in a holding period, and I'm waiting back to hear from them. So even if I have downtime, like it's in the back of my mind, and
Right.
it kind of has to be for it to run. So like when I go out backpacking and I have no service and I'm just out there, that's when I can completely just unplug. So for me, it's like my only vacation.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Love it.
I think about that stuff all the time, and I think that kind of what separates the men from the boys in a way, running your own business. There's some pros and cons to it. I
Oh
mean, when you
yeah,
run your own show, you can set your own hours, you can make more money if you want or less money, but that
right.
can kind of be um, problematic because you might find yourself just working all the time to make more money. Like I think
Sure.
there's a fine line to yeah, make enough money but also enjoy yourself. For me, my job, I have a set this is what I make,
Right.
but I don't have to think about it when I leave work.
Yeah.
I have a lot of downtime, so in a way, I'm like stuck in a place. I can't just say I'm going to work more hours today and make more money because that's what I feel like doing.
Mhm.
Um, but I also can unplug 3 days a week, like because I just don't really have any other things, right?
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off that I see. But
Totally.
I don't know. Some people get it figured out just fine. They run their own show, but they're disciplined enough to like give themselves free time. And some people can't. Some people are just always working, man. Always working. But it seems
Yeah. I
like
mean, in both areas though, like people who own businesses, you find workaholics that are doing it to an extent that's probably unhealthy, but you
mm-hmm.
see that in people that work for people as well. It's all
Yep.
about finding balance. But some people just seem to thrive in work. Like they are workaholics, but it's not bad for them. Like it's just them.
Well, it's what defines them.
Sure.
Everybody, and that's not to say it's bad. I mean, that might be their passion, and that's what defines them, right? Yours
Hmm.
might be backpacking music, whatever. And I spend a lot of time listening to music, playing music, and some people would think that was a waste of time. And but it's what I thrive my purpose from. And so who knows, maybe some people that are workaholics, that's their purpose, man, and they love that sense of accomplishment, and they probably weigh it on their financial success, right? That's how they judge it.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah, I just feel like if you got enough money to do things you want to do, hell yeah. I don't need more than that. I would
Yeah, I
like to
do.
have a little
I
bit
need
more
more.
money because I have endless wants, but
Yeah, me too. I don't I need more money all the
yeah.
time. There can never be enough.
Well, there can never be.
I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. Like for me,
Well,
like
people say
I've
money
never been
can't
at a
can't
level
buy
where
happiness, but it sure as hell can alleviate you from a shit ton of stress if you have a bunch of money, right?
right.
Which I
Like
think,
who thinks about money more? People that have so much money they don't know what to do with it, or people that are like constantly living paycheck to paycheck? They're
yeah.
they're thinking about money way more.
Well, it depends. I think some people tip over the other side where they have so much money they're afraid to lose it. They get weird.
Yeah, give me an example.
Oh, I don't know. Like, remember my dad used to talk about it a bunch with like a bunch of rich celebrities, how they always get super weird once they have like so much money. Like they're afraid like somebody's gonna take it from them. They just get odd. But I don't have any like real examples. Maybe it's a fame thing. It could be fame. It might not even have anything to do with money.
Yeah,
A lot of
fame is
people.
definitely an interesting thing.
Yeah, man. My kid was like, she's 14. I don't think she really understands. It's sweet. She thinks that like, our band is like, do you want to be famous, Dad? Like we're just right on the edge of this happening or something, right? And I'm like,
That's really cute.
it is cute, man, and gives you some hope. But I'm like, no, I have no desire to be famous, man.
Hmm.
I wanna get to the point where music could be like my source of income to where I don't have to
Right.
go to work anymore. Or, even if I could just get to the point where I work 1 day a week at my job just to keep health benefits. If I could get music to that point, I'd be stoked. But I don't want to be famous.
Right.
It'd be cool if people knew who the band was, but I could still just walk around and nobody would really notice who I am.
Yeah. There would come a point if you were famous enough that it could be exhausting to be in public.
Dude, Rachel had committed, she got me to commit to watching this documentary on Princess Diana.
Hmm.
Dude, everybody should watch that, man. It was so fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that poor woman never had a moment where there just wasn't paparazzi all up in her face everywhere she
Sure.
went. Just pictures, 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 and stories. And she was like, going through bulimia, was having these breakdowns, wanted to commit
Yeah.
suicide, like all this shit. And the public just didn't even give a shit. Just fucking cameras right up in her face. And I'm like, Michael Jackson, look at some like other Hollywood celebrities, Jim Carrey. Some of these people, they
Yeah.
can't go fucking anywhere. And for somebody like me and you, it's like your idea of a vacation and mine isn't going to Vegas or New York. I have
Right.
zero desire to go be like stuck in a bunch of people.
Yeah.
My idea of a good time's getting the fuck away from all of that. And you're
Me too.
famous and you can never do that. Like everywhere you go, people are just all in your shit. Like these are the conversations I have with my kid, and I don't know how much of it's sticking, but
Yeah.
somebody's got to teach her the reality, because I think in her mind she's really good at singing and she's good at dancing, and like a part of her wants to be famous, right? And it's like, how about you
How old
just
is
be,
she?
what's that?
How old is she now?
She's 14.
Yeah. I mean, 14, there you're not a fully developed. It's
No.
not only, I mean, I think that a 14-year-old is dumber than a 9-year-old, right? Because when you're 9, you haven't hit puberty.
Right.
I guess some of these girls are now because of all the hormones in our milk and shit like
Yeah.
that. But, if you're not in puberty, you're pretty stable.
Right.
And
Right.
then you hit puberty and all of a sudden everything goes haywire.
That is
So,
true. I
and
think that's
and
when
you're
I
pretty much
started.
screwed
What's
until
that?
you're in your 20s. You're pretty much screwed until you're in your 20s. That's a rough time
It
in
is a
life.
rough time. For girls, I think a lot of it, and some girls weren't that way so much, but maybe they were and I was oblivious to it. But I think a lot of girls, when they go through puberty, it's all about their looks. They're just, they're either like super embarrassed, they're trying to look better, they're trying to dress a certain way. Like it's all about fitting in, and so much of it has to do with like looks. Where
Yeah,
boys, it's just like boobs, boobs,
right.
boobs, boobs. You know, I remember like junior high, it was just boobs. I want to touch them.
Yeah,
I want to squeeze them. How can I get to that point?
right.
And just Yeah, but everybody's retarded during that age, man.
Yep.
Can we still use that word?
I used to have so much phobia about getting an involuntary erection and having somebody see it. So it was for me. It was like boobs, boobs. Oh shit! I'm getting an erection. I hope nobody sees it.
Yeah, that shit always happened like 2 minutes before the bell rang too. Why?
Right.
Why? It's so stupid. Thank God. I don't know. Did they have trapper keepers? I'm a bit older than you. Did you
Mhm.
have trapper keepers when you were in junior high?
Trapper keepers? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So they were these fold out, um, like plastic folders, and
Yeah.
you could get them with all sorts of different art designs on them. So it was kind of like personalized, you know. But anyway, you'd fold it open, and you could replace these little cardboard folders. So you could have one for each period in like each class in your junior high, right? And then just have all your homework and papers in like one thing. It was called a trapper keeper.
Okay.
But it was good to hold over your crotch after class if you had an erection.
That's great.
Oh God, yeah. Most girls don't know that. I don't think that the guys just get rent. Like when you're going through puberty, it's like everything's changing. Things are, for some of us, things got bigger. Some didn't get much bigger. But you know, it's all part of how your anatomy works. You go through puberty and you just start getting random erections just through the
Yeah,
day.
it's
You don't even have to be
the
thinking
worst.
about anything. It could just happen, and it was pretty embarrassing.
So bad. I remember it would happen like just from movement. Like if I was on a bumpy road or something. Like if
It
we,
reminds me of that Arrested Development episode where they're driving in the car and they have the cousin maybe sit on George Michael's lap. Oh, it's
uh-huh.
gonna get bumpy, you know.
Oh yeah. Uh, that's funny.
Yeah, gym class was tough. I was like a late bloomer, so I was always that kid like changing with his towel around his waist, and the other kids were like making fun of me. Hey,
I
Carol, hey Carol, why you got a towel around your waist? They're all walking around like grown up penis, you know, and
just totally no, not even covering it.
yeah, man. Well, if you would hit puberty early, you were like the cool guy, right? You walking around showing off all your junk and shit. All those other poor kids are just kind of like, oh God. I remember my dad was always just like, it'll pay off in the end. I was a late bloomer. You'll be a late bloomer, but you'll look good longer. Like those guys who mature early, they usually age quicker, man. But
Yeah,
like
it's
when
true.
you're in seventh grade, you're just kind of like, fuck you. That's
Yeah,
not what I
there's
want to
like
hear.
guys walking around with beards and knocking chicks up in seventh grade, and you're like,
Yeah,
man,
that's kind of dangerous though.
oh, it's so dangerous. I can't even believe it. There, when I was in junior high, I want to say eighth grade, there was at least one chick that got knocked up.
God, can you imagine?
No,
Fuck.
I can't.
Oh,
That
dude,
shouldn't
I
even be
have I
possible.
have real honest conversations with my daughter, man. Like when she started her period, I
Yeah,
said, you know what this means, right? She's like, what? I'm like, you can get pregnant. She's like,
you told her that.
oh, oh yeah. I was like,
Good, true.
you can get pregnant now.
Yeah, true.
So, and I didn't say it like in a scary way. It's just like, I've had conversations with her when I've just been like, look, man, people your age are doing this stuff. I mean, these conversations come from like some of the shit these girls hear at school in public schools at that age. Like I was unaware that girls were like talking like that and guys talking like that around girls. We used to talk like that around each other, but not in front of
Yeah,
girls like that, right? And so it stimulates a lot of conversations. And I think the best thing as a parent is always just to be 100% fucking honest because your kids are going to find the information somewhere. And I'd
yeah,
rather
they
it
are.
come from me than from some dumbass fucking teenager, right, that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. So I
Yeah, I
have
agree.
very honest conversations with her, but I'm like, there's a couple of things that would ruin your life. Getting pregnant before you're ready,
Yeah.
or getting like a sexually transmitted disease.
Yeah.
I said that is the facts. I says people like sex because it's great, it feels good, it's a wonderful thing. But
Mhm.
it can also lead to some of the worst shit you could ever even imagine. Like, that's the
Yeah.
truth. And so, I'd never had anybody talk to me about any of that stuff. I just got real lucky when I was going
Same
through the
here.
changes,
Nobody
man.
talked
For
to me about
whatever
it.
reason, I was like, always wear a condom. I don't know where that even came from because I'd never talked to my dad about it.
Mhm.
So thank God that I
Yeah,
was
smart.
smart. So, but I think have honest convos. Speaking of daughters, you have one now.
I do.
I'll just get to sit back and have a laugh. I remember that.
Laugh it up.
Yeah. She's cute and beautiful now. How old is she?
5 months, just
5
barely.
months. Crazy, man. Are you loving it?
Yeah, I love it. She's the best.
Yeah.
Cool.
It'll get better too. She'll just take on more personality as time goes on. You'll be able to, one day you'll have a adult conversation with her.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
weird.
really excited about that. At the same time, I'm like, I don't want this period right now. Like the past 2, 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
she has just bloomed in a way. Like at first, the baby doesn't do much,
No.
and they're kind of all shriveled up, and they don't look very good, and they cry a lot, and they
Yeah.
keep you up, and you're just exhausted, and everybody's just laughing at you like, haha, I bet you're tired.
Yeah. And you
Um,
are.
and you are, and you're like, yeah, thanks, thanks for reminding me. Um, but yeah, I mean, once she hit like 3 months, she started getting her little personality,
Yeah.
and she got really content, and she likes to just sit and play and laugh, and man, when we get her laughing, that is just the best.
It is the best. And it's so weird that, because what is laughter? It's not
That's a
like
good
it's not
question.
like it's some learned thing. Like you didn't teach her to laugh, right?
Right.
So what the
And she
fuck,
has
man? Like
how
what
and
do they think so funny?
how does she have a sense of humor exactly? It's like she laughs at the funniest stuff,
Yeah.
and it's genuine laughter. It's great.
Yeah, it's one of the most I don't know. I think it's one of the most innocent, pure things on the planet, man. As an infant laughing, and as an adult, it'll absolutely tame the most wild of adults. You could have
Mhm.
some fucking Harley Davidson tough guy walk by, all beard tatted up. He sees a laughing baby. He's just gonna be like, "Oh, goochie goochie coo, goochie 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 coo." Like
Yeah.
adults will do the craziest shit just to get the laugh out of that little baby, right?
Yeah. When we take her places, people just lose their shit all the time.
Yeah,
And it's just like you mentioned, like these big old tough, wrinkly dudes will just like break down and make baby faces and talk
mm-hmm.
baby talk to her, and it's been cool. I like going into public better when I have her because everybody treats us better. Everybody's so nice when you have a baby. You know, like grocery shopping, people are like smiling and waving, and it's just awesome.
Unless your baby's crying, then
Yeah, they
everybody's
all turn
talking
on you.
mad shit like, why the fuck would somebody bring their goddamn baby to the grocery store, to
Right.
the movies? You fuck, like.
Yeah, we
If
haven't
the
taken her
baby's
to the movies.
crying, it's a different scenario altogether.
Yeah, like on an airplane. I have a new. I mean, before I had a baby, that kind of stuff would upset me.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I would
saying, man.
hear a baby cry, and there's some kind of thing in my brain as a man that would be like, "Oh, why is a baby crying? Someone
I
should
need to
stop
I
that
need to
baby."
make it stop
Yeah.
now, and I will do it through shaking.
Right. Shake that baby. Shake it until it shuts up. But now I'm just, a baby can cry and I get it. I feel for the parents. So
Yeah,
I got a new empathy, I think, that's starting to develop from it.
Oh, for sure. You don't even know anything until you've had one, man. But still, there is something about a crying baby that really kind of makes your hair stand up, man.
I
Like
think it's supposed to,
yeah,
so you do something about it.
yep, maybe. My child had colic real bad for like 3 months.
Yeah, you told me that.
Whoo! That's when you're
By the
like,
way, that gripe water works pretty good. Thanks for the tip.
yeah, that stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
If I just knew about it a couple months earlier, that would have been even better. But dude, they send you home with this pamphlet, not to shake the baby,
Yeah.
At least they sent me home with one. Maybe they thought I looked like a type of guy that would do that. Who knows? But I'm like, who would shake a baby, man?
Right.
And then, it just says in there, like, if the baby is incessantly crying, you can't soothe it. You can't get it to calm down through holding it, feeding it. Just put it in the crib and walk away for a minute.
Sure.
Nothing bad's going to happen. Better to walk
Yeah.
away, go outside, breathe for a second, reassess the situation, then come back in and deal with it.
Mhm.
Um, but your baby's not going to die that way. But don't shake the baby. But I'm just like, whatever. So, oh my God, colic, screaming, hours, doesn't stop.
Yep.
Put her in a car seat, drive around for a few hours in the middle of the night. I got to get up early and go to college, go to
Of course
work,
you do.
and I'm just running on less and less sleep. And this went on for like months.
Oh.
I was like, I'm gonna shake a baby.
Yeah, you start to understand.
Some lady heard me back when I went to church. She overheard me complaining about this, and she was from Ireland.
Yeah.
She's like, "You need gripe water." No, that's my Irish accent. It's pretty shitty, huh? She's like, "You need gripe water."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell is that?" She's like, "Well, you get it at like a British pantry or something like that." This is before the FDA got a hold of it. Now you can buy it everywhere. But before
I
you'd have to
see.
go to like some British pantry or some place like that to find it.
Huh.
And it's just fennel and ginger, I think, is what it's made from.
Yeah.
But 1 teaspoon of that, and she's fine.
Hmm.
That was it. So a lot of times the colic's just like this indigestion, and it could be from the breast
Yeah.
milk, depending on what, like if your wife or, the mother of the child is eating broccoli, dark chocolate, there's all these things that will come out in the breast milk and really irritate an infant's stomach. So a lot
Yeah.
of times the colic can be related to what's in the breast milk. But regardless, this gripe water stuff is it's like tonic. It's like a miracle tonic. Wonder how many
Yeah.
babies.
It's
I
really
wonder
good.
how many less babies get shook now because of gripe water. Like everybody should be using it.
That's not good. We have our population's too high. We need people to be shaking babies.
Yeah, man. You know what we need gripe water for like adults.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of whiny fucking adults these days, man. And
there
if we
are.
could just like put a little gripe water in their mouth, a little dopper full of it. Shut the fuck up. Everybody needs a little triactin.
Yeah, people need to just shut the hell up.
Why is everybody such a bunch of pussies these days, man? I, I,
I don't know.
I can't even understand it. Everybody's oppressed. Everybody's offended. Everybody's just
Yeah,
all upset. Like what? Why? I don't understand it, man.
because they have a platform to whine on.
Is that what it is? Is it
Before,
is it the internet that's done this to people?
I don't know if the internet did it to people or if it was in people and now it's being accentuated. Like,
Hmm.
because everybody has whiny thoughts, right?
Sure.
Like we all have something in us where we don't want to do something or we're not feeling good or there's just like negativity that hits you in a day. And like it used to be that who would you talk to about that? Well, you could like speak to people in person about it or you could get up onto your phone and dial and talk to somebody about it, but you had to go through extra effort to do that.
Right.
But now you can just pull out your phone and be like, I feel bad. And it just goes out through Twitter, and somebody likes it, and you get the dopamine hit. Oh. And
So you're basically,
yeah, this is stupid.
you're able to find people that will marinate in that shit with you.
Maybe.
Whereas in the
I don't know what
past,
the hell I'm talking about, by the way. I'm just kind of riffing.
well, in the past, if you walked by, like, okay, so I got something to bitch about, man. So I come around you and I'm too negative and too bitchy. And eventually you're just like, I don't want to hang out around this guy because he's just too negative and too bitchy.
Right.
But if I'm online and I put something out that's negative, and all of a sudden I'm connecting with all these people that are just right on the same fucking train as me.
Sure.
They're all interacting with each other. I've just instantly got that positive feedback for a negative emotion, whereas other people might have kept me in check.
Yeah, I think you're onto something with that. I think that the internet makes it so that you no longer, there's really no feeling you can have that you're not going to have support for that feeling. There's going to be a community of people that are going to surround you and give you positive feedback about anything you do.
Yep.
So it used to be different. I mean, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but
I think it's always been kind of the same thing. It's just on such a giant fucking level. And
yeah,
and the feedback you're getting are from people that you don't even know. You don't know what they look like for real. You don't know anything about them. So I think it's the feedback loop used to be like in intimate circles, your friends, your family, all that type of stuff. And now it's just the World Wide Web, man. And it's all a bunch of people you don't even fucking know. And the flip side of it is you get negative feedback from people that you don't know either, and you take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've seen that meme, I think it's off of Family Guy, or not Family Guy, but South Park, and it's this big, giant, like 400, 500-pound man slouched over like this behind his computer. Your technique is wrong. You're doing it wrong. And you're sitting there on the other end taking this guy's opinion seriously, and you don't even know who he is.
Right.
Just some fucking turd out there, and who would never in a million years say that to your face. If he was like right in front of you, he wouldn't fucking dare say it to your face because of the fear that you might just beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
But everybody's, you're ugly. You're not important, you know?
Yeah.
Drives me fucking nuts, man. I don't like it. I think the best thing to do is just, if you're going to use, it's a good tool. The internet's a great tool. Like, people are able to own their own businesses. I think it's one of the greatest things to equalize people. You got women owning businesses out the wazoo now because the internet allowed them to do that.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. Way cool. But if you spend all your time worrying about everybody's opinions about everything on there, you're going to fucking have either a false sense of ego.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be depressed for no reason either. Like low self-esteem. Just because, who are these people, man?
Yeah, it's such a powerful tool. The other thing that's amazing about the internet is that you can learn anything on it.
Dude.
Like, literally anything.
It's cool, man.
Our air conditioner just broke, and I was able to fix it from YouTube, essentially. Yeah. And there was being inexperienced, I knew I might fuck it up. And I was okay with that. I was like, I'm going to try this. And I tried a couple different things and finally figured out that it was just a capacitor that needed to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to find the right capacitor, and I replaced it, and now our AC works again. But that never would have happened had I not been able to use the internet, like you said, as a tool.
Right.
So that's really cool. I like that aspect of it.
Oh, it's so badass, man. I swapped a Subaru engine and put it in a Volkswagen bus. by
That's
watching a
amazing.
14-part video on YouTube,
That's so cool.
and it worked.
Yeah, it's working, right?
Yeah, man.
You're running that thing all over the place.
Right now, I just signed up. It's been a few weeks, probably been almost a month now. I signed up for Scott's bass lessons.
Ooh.
You know, I just feel like I've been stagnant and lazy in my bass playing. You know, I've always just played by ear, and I
Yeah.
don't really know all the notes on the guitar.
Yeah,
You
me
know,
neither.
like
I'm the same
dot,
way.
no dot.
Mhm.
You know, I I mean, I know I can find the notes, but I don't know them like, oh, here's all the E's. Bum, 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 bum. Here's all the and there's just a lot of things like I want to get better, right? And I've just
Right.
been like stagnant. I don't know how to do it, and I've done lessons in the past, but they're always like really expensive and time consuming because you got to drive someplace and be there with your gear, and then you get this really rushed lesson that you can't film,
Yeah.
go back. What did we talk about? How was I supposed to do this again? So now there's this online stuff called Scott's Bass Lessons. You can do if you pay for the whole year. It's like 14 a month,
Mhm.
$14, or you can just go month to month and pay 25 a month. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm learning everything is on there, man. Videos. I mean, it is the most well done thing on the internet that I've ever seen. As far as like
Cool.
an education type thing, he gets all these bass players on there, all these different tracks you can go down. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, man. And so I'm like, this is what I want to be doing. And I'm like excited. I've been practicing bass every day,
Cool, man.
at least 30 minutes a day, but usually it turns into an hour, 2 hours. I'm getting faster. My fingers, my technique's getting right. I know all the notes on the fretboard. It's just been a few weeks.
Wow.
But like, yeah, man, I could go to college and freaking how much would that cost me?
A lot of money.
And how am I going to fit that in with my I have a wife, kid, home. I got to
Right.
pay. I got my job, man. So I'm
Yeah.
supposed to go into all this debt just to learn how to play the bass a bit better, or now it's all just on the internet. It's freaking badass.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's awesome.
And you, speaking of, that's what you do for a living now, right? Designing websites, doing web building.
Yeah, I develop websites.
Dude, your blog is so well done.
Thanks, man.
No, you can tell like you've got mad skills, man.
Yeah, I've been putting a lot of work into it. It's been really fun.
Talk about it, man.
Yeah, back of beyond dot blog.
Back
Um,
o back o beyond
right.
dot com
Back of beyond dot blog. It's not dot com. I couldn't
dot
get that one.
blog.
Some asshole has that.
Oh,
I had to
see
get
how to
dot blog, dude. But we're getting like, I think we have like 65 posts that
uh-huh.
we've written. I've done most of them, and then Kim writes as well. And it's all just made to try and inspire people to go outdoors through hiking guides, backpacking guides, and gear reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And all the photography is done by us. I mean, all the writing, everything's done by us.
Yeah, it's
But
great, man.
it's been really cool. Been working on it for a year now, and we're getting to a point now where we've got like 4,000 users per month.
Damn,
Um,
dude.
Getting a lot of positive feedback. We're starting to have people send us gear for reviews. So it's nice to have some small wins like that. It's really motivating.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, you can tell like what inspired you to do it in the first place?
Yeah.
Was it just I mean, obviously you said what it's doing now. Was that your vision from the get-go? Was to try to
Not necessarily. I didn't really have a vision, to be honest with you. I knew that like I like to write, and I had written some trip reports for fun a few years back, and I was in school and I took a class that was like a writing class, and as part of my project, they wanted you to create a blog, and so I created like 10 or 15 posts with photography that was my own from hikes and trips that we've done, and I never showed it to anybody. I just
Mm-hmm.
put it online. And I came back a few years later and looked at it, and people had commented on it, and it had views and stuff. And I was like, this is really fun. I should do this better. And
Mm-hmm.
so I created Back of Beyond as something that I wanted to actually put a lot of effort into. And I try to post weekly. I don't always get a post out. Some weeks I'll get like 2 or 3 posts. And I just try to make the information really informative. I do a lot of research, and it's just fun. It's been a fun project.
It's
I'm
great.
learning a lot from it too. Like
Oh yeah.
I feel like there could come a time where I might have a similar type of client that needs a website done, and I'll be able to give them and help them and get them a lot of good advice just
Mm-hmm.
from my own successes. So I think it's definitely I'm learning a lot.
Dude, my favorite pair of pants that I wear all the time, it was all from reading a review on your website, man.
Yeah, those pranas are nice, huh?
Dude, they're so comfortable, man. So comfortable. I've got it figured out, man. I got it dialed in now. I wear those
Cool.
pants. I got some merino wool underwear. I wear
Sweet.
like comfortable shirts, man. I've got a fanny pack. I got my fanny pack on. It's got all my shit in
Nice.
there. And then I
You
just
run
got
with your fanny pack?
what's that?
Do you run with your fanny pack?
I have a different fanny pack for running. It holds 2 water bottles.
Nice, man.
But I just upgraded to another luxury, man, that's just changed my world. So I had another pair of glasses that were sunglasses that were prescription. I
Yeah.
lost them.
Oh shit.
Like I do. I lose shit sometimes, right? So I lose my
Yeah.
glasses. And I'm like, fuck. It's going to be expensive to replace those. So I get online and I bought these polarized glasses that click on like this and just fold.
Dope.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Nerdy as
Those are like
shit, but
that's what everybody was doing back in the '90s. They were all just wearing the clip-ons.
it makes the most sense. And
It
if I
does. If
lose
you're already
those,
why
I'm
why
out
get
10
lenses?
bucks.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I'm surprised that more people don't do that.
Well, 'cause they look funny.
No, they don't. They look
They
cool. They're
kind of look
sunglasses.
funny.
No.
They are funny looking. Not when they're down. When they're down, you barely notice. But when they're sitting up like this, they're
You don't want
funny looking, man.
if you do that, you're right. Those you don't do that. You don't walk around with them sticking
Yeah, you
up.
do. That's what's so great about them. They're just there, always ready to go for when the sun comes
You don't
out,
put
man.
unclip them and put them in your pocket or something. They
Nah,
just stick
they're
out.
they're kind of lightweight. They have like a little case you put them in, but you just leave them on, man. Not always, but like when you're
Cool.
driving. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I've given up on trying to look good. Like I am just all about functionality in terms of my clothing. All I wear is like hiking shit, and I wear all synthetic or wool, merino wool,
Mm-hmm.
because whether it's hot or it's cold outside or I'm sweating, I want something that's gonna, wick moisture away from my body, and I want
Mm-hmm.
something that is gonna keep me warm if it's wet, or keep me cool if I'm sweating. So that's why I'm just like I'm pretty active, and yeah, I don't care how I look.
It doesn't matter.
I'm getting to that age now, I guess.
Dude, both of us are married to babes
It's true.
that are into nature and into authenticity. So we don't gotta dress all stupid, man. It's
You're
dumb.
right.
I see these guys and I might get some flack for this, but I don't give a shit. I don't understand why men wear pants with all that bejeweled shit on the back pockets. Have you seen this? They
Yeah,
got all
I
that
don't get
fancy
it.
stitching and these uncomfortable fancy shoes. It doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense to me, man.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why you'd want to be uncomfortable. I think it's possible to look classy and look professional and be comfortable at the same time.
Oh, for
And
sure.
to be fair, if I had a job where I actually went to an office and interacted with people, I might actually wear somewhat
Cologne.
fashionable things. I don't know about cologne. I'm kind of that's another thing, man. I
I don't
just
like it.
I'm getting more like hippied out. I'm not wearing cologne. I go for days without showering.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, man. Uh, I shower often, mostly because I work in a hospital.
Yeah,
But if I didn't work in a hospital, I'd probably shower less. I don't think it's necessary to shower every day. And
I don't either.
God, that's another thing my teenager's doing now, man. She's got all this fucking perfume on. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. She got in the car. I took her to school. I had a headache for like 3 hours. And I just
Uh,
told her, I was like, you can't be wearing that perfume anymore, man. I'm like, you got to stop that.
what are they doing that for?
Well, it's all just the insecurities. Like, you don't want to
Yeah.
stink. But it's like, I tried to explain to her again. There's these things called pheromones. And your
Right.
natural pheromones are better than the fake ones.
Yeah.
And the fake ones are dangerous. So I was reading this National Geographic article that was talking about kissing and how humans are like the only things that really kiss, like
Okay.
in mammals and stuff, right? And they think, I mean, the theory is that when you kiss somebody, you smell them.
Mhm.
And somebody who's closer to you genetically actually doesn't smell good to you. It's
That's
almost
right.
like a thing that we evolved to do to know who to like spread our genes with and who not to, right?
Yeah.
Is what the theory is. And I've had that time. I know with my wife, it's like sometimes we'll be kissing and stuff, and that smell like turns me on even more, like her natural scent, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're covering that all up with these fake perfumes, it's a fucking trick. It's
Yeah,
it's
and
it's
it's
just it's a phony trick. You're covering up your natural smell to like entice people to you with
like,
your fake smell. It's weird, man.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's an extent where it's too much, and there's an extent where it's tasteful.
Well, yeah, the
I hate
old
it
the
when
old
people just
saying is
expose
to wear
themselves.
enough to where your lover can smell it when they're close to you, but
Right.
not enough that everybody else can smell it.
Yeah, like if you're doing more than one spray on each side, you're out of your goddamn mind.
If I can smell your perfume in the elevator after you leave, I'm wondering what you're covering up. Are you rotting? Is something rotting on your body that you need to cover it up with that much spray?
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too
You
much
know what
spray.
else? When I hike, a lot of times people will pass me and I'll smell it in
Perf
open nature. That's how much they've put on. Is I just smell them as they walk past. It's like you put cologne or perfume on to go for a hike. What are you doing?
Dude, you don't know who's out there, man. You might be out there attracting the opposite sex, bro.
Yeah, maybe they're on a date, a hike
Well,
date.
it was funny because Kennedy had all this perfume on and stuff, and I'm just kind of an ass sometimes, man. My dad was like that to me, but it made me tough. I could take a joke, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, this our friends came up. It was Clay and Lindsay, and then Clay's brother Brady and
Mhm.
Brighton, and they brought their dog up, and the dog kept trying to hump Kennedy's leg, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Knock it off," you know. And Kennedy's kind of laughing, and I was like, "It's all that perfume, man. It's the pheromones. He can't handle himself."
That's funny. What did she think of that? Was she embarrassed?
No,
All
it's
right.
happened multiple times. Like, she's been around dogs. She knows what's happening and what they're doing. She just like pushes them down and stuff. But he did it like a few times, and I just related to the fact that it might be the pheromones in her perfume that was attracting him. And she kind of laughed and told me I was an ass or something like that. I can't remember. She's like, "You're so mean." But
We just had Clay and Lindsay. They stopped through Tucson on their way to Vegas to drop their kids off, and they went over to Copenhagen, I think,
mm-hmm.
and they flew out there for a couple weeks. I think they're back now.
Yeah, they
But it
came
was
up here and
cool.
stayed with us for a night.
Nice.
That was when it happened. Yeah, so it was good to see him, man. It's been a while. So
Yeah.
that's kind of been, I don't know, it's kind of been a sad thing in a way. Like
Mhm.
all of some of the tightest friendships, everybody kind of moved. Like
I know,
Jason moved from Salt Lake and he's living in Santa Barbara. You moved to
right?
Tucson, and then Clay and Lindsay moved to Austin.
Yeah, why'd we do that? That was dumb.
I don't know.
Why'd we all move away from our best friends? I don't get it.
I didn't move away from you guys. You moved away from us. So
You went up to the cabin,
that's not moving away.
up to
It's one
Salt Lake,
hour. That's 1 hour.
far enough that I saw you less.
Nah, 1 hour's not that far, man. That's great. Like if you guys lived all an hour away, we'd be visiting a lot more. Like, yeah, we're coming down for the weekend, but you're how many hours away
True.
on a
Like
drive?
14 hours.
14-hour drive, man. Sorry. Back in the day, we'd just never see you again. Back during
Yeah,
horse and buggies and shit, it'd be like
right.
Max is gone forever.
You could send a telegraph or something, right? You could send a letter on the
I don't
Pony
know.
Express.
I don't think it would be worth the energy. It's like
Take like
what's
a
the
year.
point?
How
It'd be,
fast would a letter get across the country back then on a pony?
oh, if it got across.
I guess they could use trains too.
Yeah. No, they could do that. But, the old
Remember
West, man.
that
There were
Boulder Mail
people.
Trail
Mhm.
down in Boulder, Utah? That
Yep.
old telegraph pole that goes across the desert.
Yep,
That's
they used
really
to
cool.
send telegraphs from Escalante to Boulder, and that somebody would deliver mail that way too. But,
Pretty
it
awesome.
wasn't that long ago, man, if you think about it, that
Nah.
if you like left, like there were people who just migrated to America, right? For example, and like I'm just never going to see my family again.
Yeah.
I think there were dudes who got on horses with their friends and just took off, came across some other areas, found some lady friends, and just never came back. Like, I think that shit happened, right? People just
Yeah.
left.
They left.
And now we're all like connected. You can't get away from anybody.
Who's that comedian that's like back then, guys would get fed up with their families and they'd be like, I think it was Bill Burr. He's like, they just be like, yeah, I'm going out for cigarettes. And then you just never see him again. Disappear, start a new life, get a new family. That was
Just,
possible back then.
oh yeah. Now you can't even do that, man. They
No, they
tap
find you.
into you, start taking money out of your paycheck. That's no
Yep.
good. So are you liking living down there? It's like you're in a little bit of an oasis, man.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the natural beauty here is unbelievable. The Sonoran desert of the world and plant life here than any other desert. So yeah, I mean, in
You
terms
gotta
of
you gotta re-say that. It just glitched on us. You said the natural what?
the Sonoran Desert is the most biodiverse desert on the planet.
No
It
shit.
has more species of plant and wildlife than any other desert. And where we live out in a community called Tanque Verde, out on 3.5 acres, and we're just basically out in the desert. Um, so I can walk out of my house and it just feels like I'm in nature, and real close to a lot of awesome hiking trails, surrounded
Mhm.
by mountains. The mountains go up to 9,000. We're down at like 2,500, so if it's too hot during the day, I can go up into the mountains and cool down. Um, so I like that because it does get real hot out here, and the winter time is pretty much just perfect.
Hmm.
So like, spend a lot of time outside. I like Tucson's culture a lot. There's a lot of Mexican people here, a lot of Mexican culture. People are real friendly and laid back. It's like not a hustle bustle town. It's
Mhm.
kind of slow, and I like that. Um, Eventually, we'd like to do some more traveling though. I think maybe next year we might take off for a few months at a time and check out hopefully the Pacific Northwest during the best time of the year.
Dude,
I
that'd
was
be
looking
cool.
back and I realized I spent the last 3 birthdays in the Pacific Northwest, And
Really?
yeah, so last year we went up to Whistler. We did
Mm-hmm.
some backpacking. The year before that, we did a hike to Mount Baker. And then the year before that, we did a hike to this place called Hidden Lake that has some of the coolest views. It's in the North Cascades that I've ever seen. But I'm kind of obsessed with the Pacific Northwest in a way, just the
Oh, it's
mountains and the
so pretty up there,
green.
man. And the air
Oh,
quality is like out of control.
it is.
Like I love that little bit of humidity. I really, really do.
It's so good
Um,
for you.
yeah, I don't like crazy humidity. Like I lived in Dallas, Fort Worth for a little while, Texas,
Yeah,
and it was too much in the summer, man. You're just
yeah,
soaked all the time. But that mild bit of humidity, that fresh air,
yeah.
oh man, and just
So good.
beauty everywhere.
Yep. So much water.
Yep, we're gonna be hiking through some cool shit, man.
Yeah.
Are we
Can't.
gonna be in sequoias and stuff with
I
big
don't know.
trees?
Probably because I think we're gonna be going close to Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park. I don't know if I am remembering that right, but yeah, I mean, I've never been down there, but from our hike that we did last year up in Yosemite, I got a little bit of a taste of the Sierras, and I want more.
Oh yeah,
Those are big mountains. It's the real
dude,
deal.
Yosemite. That was a beautiful, beautiful hike, man.
Yeah, it was.
That river,
Oh,
damn, that river.
those waterfalls everywhere,
Oh,
big
if
granite walls.
I would do that one again, for sure.
Yeah, so would I.
That was so pretty, man. I can't even. And I've seen Yosemite in all those videos. I used to climb back in the day. I didn't get super great at it, but I did it for a couple of years and
Yeah.
watch these climbing videos all the time. And you see these people down in Yosemite, and it's like that's pretty big. But then seeing it like in person, you're just like, holy shit, man. No wonder
Yeah,
it's like this little climbing mecca.
it's amazing. I don't know how they get up on those big walls and not have a panic attack.
Oh, you have to be like so committed. I mean, there might be some ways off in the middle of it. I don't know. I don't know how all that works, but I think for a lot of those things you're just committed to going up, right?
Yeah, that would be really psychologically difficult.
Dude, have you seen those guys climb it without ropes,
Yeah.
without any protection?
Yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about those guys like Tommy Caldwell and spacing the name of the other dude that's
What was it, Dean Potter? Wasn't he the one that died a number of years ago? But he'd climb that thing without any ropes.
yeah, that guy was nuts. But
But
yeah,
dude,
you hop
those
up and
guys,
get on that cold granite and just start weaving up that thing. It's crazy.
yeah, they do it like in a couple of hours or something like that without ropes. But if you have ropes and protection, it could take you all day, maybe longer, right?
Yeah. Those
You
guys,
got
that's pretty crazy too. Like the guys that like bivouac out on the rock and they set up their tent sideways,
Do you
cook
think
their
you could?
meals in
Do you
there.
think you could sleep in that situation?
I don't know how much sleeping I'd get done.
I don't think I could do it.
I'd be pretty nervous, but maybe that goes away with enough practice.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge heights guy. Like I'm not afraid of heights to the point that it's debilitating,
right.
but I'm afraid of heights. Like I get a feeling when I look off a cliff, like ooh,
Well,
that's
you should have that
different.
feeling. That's what keeps you, far from falling to your demise, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's a reason that is in you. But what I can't figure out are these people that seem to be adrenaline junkies. Does it just take more for them to get that like adrenaline rush than it does the average person? Or do they just love adrenaline so much that they want to get a hit of it as intense as they can? Does
yeah,
that make sense what I'm saying?
yeah. I understand the question. Is it that they have some sort of like release of adrenaline in larger quantities than normal people? Or are they just more addicted to that same release that we all get? That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
Well, I know for a fact, like a lot of guys who go into the military and go to war, and they get that constant, like, because they're just constantly, when you're under fire and stuff, that adrenaline rush that's going on all the time, like, it's so intense that,
Yeah.
like, when they come back, they suffer like depression from the lack of that. So a lot of those guys become like thrill seekers and things just to
Yeah.
get that adrenaline bump.
I think that men have some sort of, we've like evolved to get a lot out of those types of high pressure situations where we're surrounded by other, team members that we can depend on, that we can serve, like camaraderie.
Mhm.
The guys that do that, that go out to war, they get a lot from that, and then they come back and they're disappointed by everyday life. They get depressed. It can be a real mess.
Got to get a bullet bike.
Yeah.
Got to get a squirrel suit, man. Got to do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
No, it's
Real.
got to be just like a drug. I mean, I love caffeine. Like I drink way more caffeine than I probably should. But
In
I can
coffee form or what else?
just
Just
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not
Tea.
gonna. What's that?
Do you drink any tea?
Once in a while, mostly coffee.
How much coffee do you drink every day?
Well, I've cut back a little bit. I was drinking like this full, and
Okay.
then I'd get to work, and then I'd go get another Americano.
That's a lot of coffee.
Yeah, so now I'm just sticking to one of these a day.
Yeah.
I love coffee though, man. It's so good. But yesterday on my way home, I stopped and grabbed a coffee. But I can drink coffee at 5 o'clock and still just go to bed.
I can't. I gotta cut myself off before 5. I usually just drink coffee in the morning, and then if I need another pick me up, I will drink Earl Grey or green tea. And if I need a pick me up for physical activity, I'll drink like a pre workout drink.
Mm-hmm.
Get my muscles just sizzling.
I probably just need a nap, but you don't
Yeah.
get those anymore. I would love to have like mandatory nap time at work. Like, hey, all right, you got to go take a nap for a minute. I think I'd be more productive.
Yeah, definitely. I take naps every once in a while, like probably once every few weeks. I'll take a nice nap on a day where I'm really tired.
Does
It's
it feel
great.
good?
Yeah,
What's it like?
just cut out. I'm
Oh, there we are. So you do a lot of naps?
no, I wish I did more. I wish I had a daily nap, but
That'd be
that's not in the
awesome.
cards right now.
We got to implement that on our backpacking trip, man. Just like a little power nap mid-afternoon. Those are always nice.
Yeah, those are great.
We'll just have to see how we're feeling, I guess.
I
So are
wish
you
Matt was
still,
doing the whole thing. It's probably just he can't get the time off, huh?
I don't know, maybe he's just a big wuss.
Yeah, maybe.
He's always going on and on about how tough those Laramie boys are. Just kidding.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think he could do it. He always surprises
Yeah,
me, man, 'cause like
he's good. He could do it.
yeah, he's got a tough brain, man. Like even though I mean, he's pretty active, but I don't think he's getting out running and stuff. But like when anytime he comes on a trip with us, he just ponies up.
Right.
His little pony legs just take over.
He texted me about what Z packs I have, so he
Right.
must be thinking about getting a new pack,
I
getting
think
a
he
lighter
already
pack.
well, we're gonna go on an overnighter this weekend, him and I.
Cool. Where you going?
I think we're gonna go to the Uintas,
Sweet.
and I know this really cool lake that most people don't know about that Clay showed me years ago. So It's a little off trail, but you get there and you got the whole damn lake to yourself. And you can actually fly fish right off the shore because it doesn't get fished. So the fish aren't all spooked at being on the side. So you can catch some pretty good sized brookies like fly fishing right off the side. Usually lakes up there, you got to fish with like a fly in a bubble to get it out far enough because the fish don't hang around the shore because the lakes get visited too much, you know?
Yeah, I haven't had that much success fly fishing in the Uintas. I did catch a fish at Red Castle one time, but that might be the only fish I've ever caught up there.
Mm-hmm. What was the, weren't we on the Uinta trip when you caught your first fish ever on a fly rod?
No, it was at the Wind Rivers.
Was that the Wind Rivers? The picture I got
Yeah.
of you holding that little guy up?
Mhm.
Dude, I was looking
Yeah.
through some old pictures the other day. We all look so much better than we did then. Have
That's
you
funny.
noticed this?
Um, I've noticed that you're in probably the best shape that I've seen you in
Mm-hmm.
since I've known you. And Jason's definitely in the best shape that I've seen him in.
Oh yeah.
Um, Clay's in terrific shape.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think everybody's just getting in really good shape.
Dude, that picture of you with the fish that you caught, I was looking at and I'm like, you were a bit chubby,
Mhm.
you know? Just had some baby fat on you. No, not a
Yeah.
lot of definition, you know what I mean? And now you're like running, freaking exercising, and you've trimmed all up. You look all muscular. Like it's awesome, man. Like I'm really
Yeah.
stoked that we're all like doing shit and staying in shape. And then every time these opportunities come up to get together, nobody has to say no because we're in shitty shape. We're like, yeah, man, let's do this.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I mean, that's
It,
one of the drives that I have to be in good shape and staying in good shape is because I always want to be able to do these trips.
Me too. That's why I get into the shape that I'm trying to get into is just to do the things I want to do and be able to move my body through the wilderness in the way that I want to, you know?
Doesn't it feel good? Like sometimes
Yeah.
I'll just be pumping up a hill, man. I'm like, God, my legs feel great. Like they
Yeah.
feel fucking strong. Like
I love
I
that
love
feeling.
that feeling. It's great.
I don't always get that, but when I get that feeling, it's like it's kind of like a high in a
Mm-hmm.
way, especially when it's pretty out. That can get me going.
When
Like
it's
if it's
what?
real, when it's pretty out,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
running or hiking, and that'll keep me going.
Do you ever get that feeling like you just get into that zone, like you're running through the trees or through nature, and you just get to the point where you're not really thinking about your legs, your body. You almost just get to the point where you're just focused on breathing
Yeah.
and just like you're kind of just like hovering through nature,
Mhm.
like just checking shit out, man. But you're
Yep.
not like, oh, my feet, my legs, but you just get to that point where it's like, I could do this all day, man.
Yeah.
Till you stop.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah,
It
man.
seems like you could do it all day, but I don't know.
It's the nutrition thing and getting your body to hold up that long. But you can get there, man. There's a guy at my work. He's in his 60s and he just ran a 100-mile marathon.
That's crazy.
The guy's an animal, man. He's a neurosurgeon. He has
Yeah.
his own airplane that's set up with these big wheels so you can fucking land the thing anywhere. He's got like this little hangar down in the
Mhm.
desert, but he'll just go on his days off, fly out in the middle of the desert, land his plane somewhere, and just go exploring.
That's the life.
Dude, he's one of the coolest guys around, man. So
That's
he's always,
awesome.
yeah, he's always talking to me about his adventures and shit. But yeah, he's running 100-mile marathons. I'm just like, what the hell? I want to be that good of shape when I'm in my 60s, man.
Yeah. That's inspiring.
But
Those
that
guys
that
do
goal
that.
that goal happens now. That's the one thing I've learned from being in the medical field. If you want to be in good shape when you're 60, you got to be in good shape now.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, man, because I do think some people's bodies kind of get to the point of no return. But if you always stay up on it, man, at least be within that ability to get back up on it. Don't go too far. Don't let
Mhm.
yourself go too far out. That's the best thing for you. But I want to be able to do all this stuff when I'm old too. So,
Yeah.
and if you're in good shape and your knee goes to shit, they just give you a new knee. You're back up doing it again within a few months, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. At this point, we have some pretty amazing medical abilities,
Oh
and
yeah,
it'll only be better by the time we're older.
yeah. Pretty soon, everybody will just go get their legs swapped out, and they'll be like super obese people with like robotic legs, and they're just hiking faster than us to the top of the mountain.
We'll just
It's
take
like,
some sort of gel, and all of a sudden their obesity won't matter. They'll just be able to run. Their rolls are just flopping around. They're running like faster than you've ever ran in your life.
well, it's like all these electric assist bikes nowadays. Have you seen these things?
No, I haven't seen them in person. Not
Some of them are
really.
cool. I mean, if you're like commuting to work every single day, you know, you can still like get your gearing low and get a workout, but you can maintain like 25 miles an hour the whole way to work. So I
Wow.
get it for that, but some people are using these pedal assist bikes on their mountain bikes now. So, you
They
know, you're
are.
cranking up a hill and all of a sudden some dude just comes blowing past you. And you're just like, what the fuck? Oh, man. Some electric assist pedal bike? God damn it.
Has that actually happened to you?
Not me personally. It's happened to my
Oh,
friend I work with. But he's got one. But I mean, like he was up riding a trail and somebody blew past him.
that's fun.
I've had somebody just blow past me because they were way stronger than me, and that pissed me off even more, I think.
Yeah, I've had that happen too.
But that person earned it.
They did. But maybe they didn't. Maybe they just have good genes. That's a part of it
I don't
too.
know, man. I think some people just work really hard at things more than others.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
there is a
Very true.
genetic component to it for sure. I mean, like David
Right.
Phelps, the swimmer, has really long torso, so his lungs capacity is much larger than most people. So his ability to breathe allows
Mhm.
him to like swim faster, right? So there are genetic predispositions to be better at things than others. I agree with that. But that doesn't take away from the fact that those people still put in a lot of time and energy like getting good at it.
That's true. And there's also a third component where there's people that are like zen enough to, oh, like they're not as susceptible to their own pain, like their bodily discomfort.
Mhm.
They can kind of put that on the back seat and just go.
Right.
So like that mental component, people who train their minds are more capable as well.
Oh yeah. We actually went with Wayne and his family to go see David Blaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
How was
that's
that?
what's so cool about him is he's not a magician. He's an endurist.
Yeah,
Everything he's doing, he's fucking doing. He sews his lips together. He sews his fucking lips together, man.
that
When he
guy's
stick
crazy.
when he sticks that needle through his hand, and he did it through his arm in front of Ricky
Ah.
Gervais. Ricky Gervais just lost his shit. But people think that's like a magic trick. But what he's done is it some certain technique. It takes a long time to get that point, but you can create a hole through your skin that you can't see, right? So he really did stick something through his hand and got it to the point where he could put it through his hand anytime he wants to in a bunch of different places.
That's unbelievable.
And then
That's
how
so
he can
cool.
hold his breath underwater. I think he did it for like 23 minutes once. Like he has the
Yeah.
record for it. And then
Yeah.
he I watched this documentary on him. It was fascinating, but he was obsessed with this guy who used to be able to like swallow things and bring them back up, right? And
Right.
so he just spent years training himself to be able to do this. So he swallowed and to stretch his stomach out too. So he drinks this whole giant thing of fish. It's like a fish bowl of water. It's huge. And people think it's like some illusion or magic trick. No, he fucking swallowed that much water. And then he swallows this flammable liquid.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really dangerous thing to do because if he fucked up, he'd die like really quick, right? So
Right.
this years of practice, and then he does some other things. So he basically ends up blowing fire, lights this whole thing on fire, and then brings up the water and is able to put the whole thing out.
uh,
And it just looks like he's just this stream of water, like
he's just bringing it up. He's not even really like vomiting it. He's just pushing it up with his esophagus
yeah,
muscle.
man. It's fucking
He's,
crazy. He
he's
can swallow
trained
all
like,
sorts of shit and bring it back up.
yeah, he's amazing. That David Blaine, he's my favorite. I mean, I don't really know that many magicians, but every time I've seen video of David Blaine, I am 100% all in about it. It's so cool. That
And
guy's awesome.
it's great because he's not like I have magic powers.
Right.
Like some of
He's
these
not like
guys make you think they've got like
pretending.
magic powers, right? And people are like, "Oh my god, he's a psychic, whatever." There's always an explanation of how they do this shit. They do it all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
Um, have you ever seen the documentary An Honest Liar?
No.
The great Randy, he's a magician,
Mhm.
and then he goes around like debunking all these magicians. Like this one guy really had everybody convinced they had like telekinetic powers and he was able to bend the spoon. And then Randy came on and like did it and like disclosed the trick and like put him out of it. But the guy
Crazy.
was claiming to have like real powers, right? And then there
Yeah.
was another guy who was like a preacher, Popoff, I think is what his name was. But
Mhm.
he would sit there and he would know people's names and all their problems and he's like healing people in the crowd and this guy's making a killing. And so the great Randy comes in and he they hired a guy and they started searching the radio frequency waves and they found out the guy had an earpiece and his wife
Oh,
was reading all the shit off to him.
damn.
It's a cool documentary, man. You should watch it. It's a good one. And then it has a twist in
Okay.
it.
What's it
It's
called
cool.
again?
An Honest Liar.
An honest liar. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
check
it's a
that
good one.
out.
So are you still doing music stuff, man? You
I
get
haven't done very much lately, but stay tuned. I'm gonna be putting something up soon.
nice. So
Yeah.
you're doing most things now on that keyboard, right? That Korg?
Yeah, I am, but I want to get a rig set up to connect my electric guitar to my computer. I'd like to do some electric guitar stuff over the top.
Right.
And then another thing that I need to learn, I need to get to a point where I can come up with beats. I haven't figured out how to do that very well in Logic. I'm not happy with what I'm producing in terms of like drum sounds. I need to
Yeah.
learn more about the program. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been doing much of it lately. I'm also kind of thinking about doing some online like tutorials for guitar,
Mhm.
kind of like you're doing with bass,
Right.
to try and improve my technique and learn like all of the notes, like you were saying, and get some scales down. Um, but yeah, been listening to a lot of music.
Yeah.
Been some good
What
stuff
have you
coming
been
out.
what's that?
Have you heard the new Kamasi Washington, the Heaven and Earth album?
Mm-mm.
It's really good. Kamasi Washington is a jazz artist that plays saxophone.
Yeah, I think
He's
Clay
incredible.
talked to me about them before. Um, but good stuff, huh?
Yeah, this new album is really good. Another one that I recommend, that I've been recommending to everybody. Have you heard of the Moondoggies?
Mm-mm.
So the Moondoggies are a band based out of, I think, Washington State. So they're a Pacific Northwest band, Seattle or Seattle area. And they play rock, but not conventional song structures, somewhat on the proggy side, somewhat on shoegazy kind of sound, but they just fucking rock, man. They've got this album called A Love Sleeps Deep that
Mm-hmm.
came out this year, and it's really good. The
Cool,
Moon,
man.
you'll dig them. I know you'll dig them.
Okay. I'm gonna check them out.
And your listeners
Moondoggy.
will dig them too.
What's that?
Your listeners will dig them too. I don't know how many people are listening to this.
Oh, last time I checked, I don't check super often, but um, we're starting from the ground up. That was kind of like Chris and I's thought, was to just make it more grassrootsy.
Cool.
We could have tried to get a bunch of followers first and then unleashed it, but we're just like, let's just
Yeah.
start from the bottom, just go and see what happens, man. So
Yeah.
we get, I think overall we've had like, last time I checked was like over 300 downloads, which
Cool.
for just starting out, nobody knows who we are.
And that's
Um,
just through iTunes.
yeah, it's just iTunes and, well, it's Libsyn is what you're looking at, and Libsyn is what uploads to iTunes. So when you're
Gotcha.
looking at your dashboard, it gives you the stats of all the downloads, right, that have happened. So no
Cool.
matter where it's getting downloaded from.
Yeah, I
Um,
listened to your new Swinging Lights album, and I really like it. It's on Google Play. I'm like the only person that I know that uses Google Play. It's an
mhm.
app for listening to music and streaming it, and I love it. I'm never going back. Like, I like it better than Apple Music.
Mhm.
It's got really nice recommended new releases, and the algorithms. I mean, it's Google. They work really well.
Oh,
But anyway,
sure.
I found your Swinging Lights album on there. You probably didn't know it was on there.
I knew it was on there.
Oh, did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, we uploaded it to. So in order to get everything on like Amazon and Spotify, you have to have a publisher.
Yeah.
And so we just publish them, and this is what most people do. If they're not on
Yeah.
a record label and stuff, they just publish it through like CD Baby, and
Okay.
then you pay to have it uploaded to all those different places. So it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, iTunes, Google Play.
Cool.
Um, yeah. So, but our whole mentality is you just never know what's gonna hit, if anything hits. But if something actually ends up hitting and you don't have any content, you're just kind of dead in the water, right?
Yeah.
So we're just busting out these podcasts, doing whatever the hell we want. We're going to be dropping albums. We're just doing all of it, and maybe one day something hits. Who knows?
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm doing with my blog. It's called the post and pray method in the blogosphere.
Post and pray.
Yeah.
Well, you got. I remember you were telling us about that one backpacking mill company. You got their feathers all ruffled up because you did a backpack food review,
Yeah,
and you
those
didn't
are
give.
not the only guys that have ruffled feathers now. I'm starting to get more of that.
It's awesome. It's obviously getting big enough that people are paying attention to what you're saying about it, which is rad.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain keywords that if you Google, the blog will show up on the first or second page.
Mhm.
And like 75% of our traffic is from Google searches, which is, I'm really happy about that
Mhm.
because I want it to be a resource and I want it to be something that people see as a resource. So if you put in certain terms like best, dehydrated food or best freeze-dried food for backpacking, you're going to see my post. So that's been pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's post and pray. It's like you just try to create good content that people will like, and
Mhm.
that's what you're doing as well. And that's really the best method.
I agree.
Because if you do it any other way, you're not being authentic. So,
I agree 100%, man.
and by the time that you get people who follow you and are fans of you, they will spread the word for you.
Right.
So it's better to build small and try and get people who are super loyal and who really like what you're doing than to be like a catch-all and please everybody.
Yeah, I agree, man. One of the coolest things we did this year was just add a couple more people to the band. It really filled it out, man.
Yeah, you got a keyboardist and another guitarist, right?
Yeah. It's
So your keyboardist has the same Korg as I do.
I know we bought that
That's cool.
for that purpose. That thing is tone making machine, man. It's pretty powerful.
Did he get the inverted keys
The
where the
black?
white keys are black
No,
and
no.
ah?
We had that one before.
Oh really?
With our old drummer wanted to have a keyboard to play, but it never like panned out, and that's what we got before. It was had black keys, and the what are they? The flats were all white
Mhm.
or red. I think they might have been red even. I can't remember. But we sold that and got Chris that Gretsch guitar, which
Ah,
that thing's awesome.
you like the tone on it?
Oh yeah. I
The
like it. I
action.
like those hollow body guitars, and I really like Telecasters. I think are probably my favorite guitars as far as tone goes.
That's cool. I
And
like the
Willie Nelson's
Telecaster.
guitar. Willie Nelson's
Huh?
guitar is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The tone that comes out of that thing, Trigger. Have you seen that little documentary about his guitar?
No, I haven't.
It's like 15 minutes long on YouTube. Just look up Willie Nelson Trigger
All right.
documentary. It's pretty cool. That guitar has got a goddamn unique tone that doesn't sound like anything else.
Nice.
Yeah, so those are my three favorite guitars, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, man, I bought a new guitar. I don't have it here though, 'cause I had to have some work done to it.
Nice.
Yeah, I
What
got a
kind of guitar did you get?
Fender Mustang.
Right on.
Yeah, man, it's cool. I've been playing hollow bodies for a few years now, so it's nice to have like a solid body. It's real light and comfortable, and it just has a different kind of punch to it that I'm really
Nice.
digging on. So, yeah, man,
Bass,
I
bass
miss
is
playing.
cool.
What's that?
Bass is a cool instrument, man. I've never been able to get to where I could feel comfortable on bass.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than guitar, even though it's the same strings. I mean, those are some beefy strings, and then on top of that, everything is really far apart on the
Mm-hmm.
fretboard. So you got to really stretch. And the other element of it, and probably the more important element that's hard for me, is just being down in the pocket and like playing with the drums. And I think that you do that really well
Well,
out of the
thank
bass
you.
players that I've played with. It's bass players. It's hard to find good ones.
Right.
You know, it's definitely a tough instrument that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's
Right.
so important. And if you start listening to songs and trying to hear the bass, you realize how important the bass is to a song.
Well, it's
Like
what people dance to, man.
it
That's
is.
what they're moving to, but they don't realize it. It's all about the people on guitars and the singers, right?
Right. They get all
You've
the
seen
attention.
Yeah, you've seen that funny like breakdown of what all the members of the band get when they leave. Like
Yeah.
it's got like the singer equals like three women. Then it's like the guitar player has two.
Right.
The let's see, the drummer just has one woman like his wife, and then the
Yeah.
bass player just goes home by himself,
Right.
and then the keyboard is like two dudes. Like
uh,
politically incorrect, but it's a funny meme, man. Cracks my shit up.
yeah, it is politically incorrect. What do you mean? What's wrong with having two dudes? It's
Nothing wrong with
perfectly
it,
okay.
man. Just funny stereotypes. That's all it is. Just funny stereotypes. The keyboardist. um, no, what were we just talking about before that? Oh, just yeah, bass underappreciated. I agree, man. But like, there'd be no Wilco without John Sturrat. That dude's a monster on the bass, man.
Yeah.
He's been there for a long time. He's been their bass player since Uncle Tupelo's last album. So before Wilco's even started.
Is that right?
Yep. So he's amazing. Freaking Dr. Dog. Dude, Toby Lehman, that boy can play the bass, man. And sing at the
Yeah.
same time. That's another thing that's really difficult with playing bass is being able to play the bass good and
Mhm.
sing at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that.
You just
I have a hard
get
enough time playing guitar or keyboard and singing at the same time. And a lot of times you're playing some of the melody anyway, so you just
right.
follow it.
Well, it
But when you're
depends on what type of keys you're playing, though. Like some people who can play piano where they're doing a bass riff
right,
and the melody over the top, and they're singing. There's like three levels of separation going on there. I think
right,
that's even harder.
yep,
But with bass, it is like you're rhythmic. You're playing like a rhythm, locking in with the drums, but it doesn't necessarily follow, what you're singing over the top of it. So it's like you have to almost memorize the bass to the point where you can separate and like hear the two. But it's hard. It's hard, man.
huh.
So anybody who can do that well, I'm always like blown away by it. That
Well, you
chick
did it
from
pretty well on your album. You have what, 3 or 4 songs that you're singing the lead vocals for,
I think so.
and you wrote those songs, I presume,
Well, it's
or
I
wrote
don't
the
take
ideas
credit.
and brought them to the band, and
Yeah,
then
exactly. Like the basic skeleton,
yeah.
yes. And
I mean, that's
then
typically how people do it. They come out with, whoever's going to bring a song idea to the band. It's very unfinished until the band takes it and works on it. But
sure.
initially, those ideas have to come from somewhere.
Yeah, and the thing is it changed. So a lot of times they change a lot from like the original idea, and I don't take credit for that. It's a band situation. Like this whole album was really written by me, Chris, and Wayne.
Mhm.
I mean, that's all there is to it. Nobody's taken writing credits solo. It's just all songs were written by the Swinging Lights, which is, the three of us. This album, anyway. The next album will be different. But
Yeah, an
when you bring,
egalitarian approach.
yeah, and in my opinion, those are the bands that really stay together, man, for a long time. Like I'm in this for the long haul. I don't want to like. It's the consistency thing. If you want to like be successful in a band, you got to stay together long enough. Especially if you're
Right.
not like on some pop label that's, you know, dropping all the shit and doing all the advertising for you. If you're really going to build like a grassroots following or respect or, people desire to listen to you, it
Yeah,
comes over time. And and I think that if everybody has an equal part, equal say in the situation, those are the bands that actually have a chance because they're going to stay together long enough.
for sure.
So,
There are those bands though where it's kind of just one guy, and sometimes the band's even named after them. Like, speaking of which, another good album that came out this year, Sparkle Hard by
mhm,
Stephen Malkmus
mhm,
and Jick. Since where Stephen Malkmus, formerly the lead singer and songwriter of Pavement, which is probably more of an egalitarian band where they all wrote everything, but then, he goes and he does his solo act, and they're tight, and they can jam, and
mhm.
everybody in that band is skilled, and they've been around for at least a decade.
Yeah,
So there are instances where you get these solo acts that stay together. They keep it. Maybe there are some members that have gone in and out of the Jigs. I'm not
well,
sure.
he's definitely made a name for himself. He's definitely got dough. He's
Right.
probably paying these guys really well.
He's
And they're
probably
the type of guys that are like, that's fine by me, man. Pay me well, I'll come tour with you. Like with our situation now, with having Herc and Brad joining the band, Herc
yeah.
just wants to be a paid musician in the band.
Right.
Like that's what he wants. So we're like, cool, man. Like the money we make from shows that you gig at, you get an equal share that we all get. We just split the profits 5 ways, right? You get yours. I'm putting all mine back into the band because I want the band to be self-sufficient. But we
Right.
also want Herc in the band because he's really good. But he's enjoying playing in the band. Like he wanted to do it, but I think at his age, he's a little bit older. He's been in bands. He's done stuff. This is what he does for a living. He's, records people's albums and mixes, produces, whatever. and he's
Yeah.
phenomenal at it. It's like if he's gonna take time away from that, he wants to be sure that he's making money, right? Like I
Right.
don't think he's like a 20-year-old like we're gonna make it big, But
Right.
we're making dough, right? We're making some money, and we're paying him, and he likes it. He has a lot of fun with it, and we like having him in the band because he's fucking awesome. His guitar playing's like through the roof.
Cool. I didn't know that about Herc. I
Oh,
didn't
he
know
can
he played
fucking.
guitar.
Oh, he's way good, man. He's like the
That's
Nils
awesome.
Klein. He's the Nils Klein of the band. No,
That's
he's great. And him and Brad, man, they cracked down. They learned 3 hours worth of material in like 2 months.
crazy.
Yeah, so
3 hours is a lot.
it's a lot of shit to remember, man.
Yeah.
It really is. Like Chris and I always kind of joke about just playing a song is like everybody doing the Nintendo code. You remember the old up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. It's like you got to do that for 3 minutes straight, everybody at the same time to
Right.
make sure that it works and sounds good. And then you're going to do that for 3 hours. You fuck up here and there, but I think you get better at not at hiding it.
Yeah.
It's fun though, man. I miss jamming with you, dude. Every once in a while, I get on YouTube and look up those videos from. Remember when we played Valor
Yeah.
as the Watches?
Mhm.
Those were
That
good
was fun.
times, man.
Yeah, they were. We were a good band.
It was good. It was hard, but
It
it
was
was
really
good.
hard. Did some complex things, complex arrangements, and a lot of weird time signatures, and definitely some tough rhythms. But yeah, we made it work.
Yeah,
A lot of talent in that group.
yeah, there was, man. It was a fun time. How long were we together? It was a few years.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 years.
My only regret is we didn't get that fucking album done. We should have just went someplace and recorded it.
I
I might
know
have.
we were too perfectionist. We should have just. I mean, we recorded several times. We should have just put it out.
Yep.
But we were like, no, it's not ready. We can do better.
Yeah.
And maybe that labor of love would have produced something epic over time, but we all moved away and what
Shit
have you.
happens.
Yep.
Do you still talk to Joe very often?
I haven't talked to Joe in a long time, actually.
Seems like is he still doing that like guitar gig? Or what was that at some like bar, right? Or restaurant place where he's doing
Yeah, like the Big Legrowski or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I know he's playing in a band called Comrade Fran.
Oh, do they have stuff out to listen to?
I don't know if they do or not, but they have an Instagram, and I've watched their little clips from their live shows, and there's a couple songs that they play. I looked at their set list that Joe wrote when he was in the Watches.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting. So I wonder what those arrangements sound like.
Were they songs that we played?
Yeah, like I think they might play Century Boy. I can't remember. There were a couple that there was another one, Jack the Ripper, that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we ever played it with Watches, but Joe wrote that song, and I remember him sending it to me during that time. But yeah, I mean, it's just from Instagram stalking that I know anything.
He's a phenomenal guitar player, man.
Yeah, he is.
And the thing that's so weird is how good he is at other shit too. Like he's no slouch on the bass, and then like he's a pretty good drummer.
Yeah, he's really good at drumming. He's good at pretty much anything musical.
Yeah,
He's got a talent and a passion for it.
he's got that ear too, man.
Yeah, he does.
Which is, I don't know, it can be a blessing and a curse having an ear like that.
I don't think I've ever played with somebody that has that good of an ear, where he can listen to a song and then play it.
Right.
With almost no work. Like he will listen to it and he'll play the riff and he'll be like, oh no, that's not right, and then he'll self-correct in real time and play the riff correctly. Whereas for me, it would be something where, first of all, nobody could be watching.
No.
I would need to sit down alone and
Right.
play it shitty for a while until I finally got it. And having people watch me do it would be embarrassing. But he would just do it like in real time in front of people. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I remember one time we were down in Wayne's basement and you played something on the keyboard and I was like, oh, that reminds me of that Radiohead song. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden Joe just wow 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 and played the whole thing,
Yeah.
and it really sounded like Johnny Greenwood was playing. Like that's the part that's crazy too, is it's not just the song, it's like he knows how they play. Like
Right.
that part's, and
Yeah.
I'd have to sit down with a song for a while to figure it out, man. And then once I know it, I'm usually pretty good with it, but I can't just hear a song and just immediately start playing it.
Yeah. He's tapped into some other wavelength, man. The guy's phenomenal.
Yeah, he is. Well, he was telling me like he got into guitar when he was like 8 or 9, right? He wanted one real bad, and his dad's like, "Well, if you do this for a year, I think it was like mow the lawn for a year, we'll get you a guitar." So we did it, and then he got his guitar. Then he said he just never came out of his room. It was like a video game to him. Like
Hmm.
some kids just sit around for hours playing video games. He sat around for hours playing guitar. And he
Right.
said his dad came home every day and was like, "Are you just gonna sit there and play that thing? You gonna do anything else?"
Yeah.
And he said one of the first things that he really tried to learn and work out, like he sat down with like some Led Zeppelin album and was like, "I'm gonna learn this album. I'm gonna learn how to play this." It's like, shit, man. So anyway, I think there's a magic age where if you really truly get into something, it's a little bit easier to like program your brain. And the older you
Definitely.
get, because music's a language, right? So the earlier you're turned on to it, and the earlier you can program your brain for that language, I think it's a bit easier.
Yep.
When you're older and you're trying to learn the theory and wrap your mind around all that, it just becomes a little bit more difficult, I think. Or
Yeah.
maybe
Plus
I'm
you
just
have like,
making excuses for myself.
yeah, I got so many excuses for that. Yeah. But like when you're older, you also have a job and you gotta work and you gotta provide for your family
Yep.
and you gotta spend time with people to keep your relationships. When you're a kid, none of that stuff exists.
Mm-mm. Those were the
Like,
days. Those were the days, man.
yeah.
So that's another thing I keep trying to remind my kid of. It's like, don't waste your time worried about whether people like you and all that shit, man. We're boys. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Boys, 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 but don't waste too much time on it. Like, you just have this small amount of years that you can really get good at your talents before that everything else just consumes your life. I was like,
Hmm.
you're into singing, you're into dancing, get really damn good at it right now because, once you hit adulthood and you have to have a job and support yourself, you just don't have that free time. It's a lot more difficult.
Yep.
If you're running around wasting all your free time worried about if some boy likes you in junior high, it's a pretty big waste of time because the probability that he'll be around for you when you're 18, 20, even 6 months from now is pretty goddamn low, right?
Yeah. So low.
I mean, at that age, you're just like really excited to get somebody to like you, but once they like you, you're like, yeah, I want to get somebody else to like me, right? Like nothing lasts that
Me,
long.
for me, it was like I was really committed to all the girls that I would date. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
I'll marry this girl. I'm in, like 100%. I'm like 15. Like it's you and me now, babe. You and me versus the world. I think they were in that mindset that you just said, like where they really wanted somebody to like them. And
Right.
then the second that I did, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go like somebody else now." And
Yeah,
then I just get my heart broken over and over again.
that's
And
good for you, man.
that just happened like consecutively until Kim, and then she kind of like pulled me out of the fog
You
of that
married
time
her because
period.
she was the only one that didn't break your heart.
Pretty much, she was like the only one that was committed 100%. You know,
Oh,
she
sure.
and she was about she liked me for who I was. So
You guys seem
that
really,
I
really
got really
happy,
lucky.
man. You guys seem super happy. I think the thing you guys have in spades is um, you're both your genuine selves, and you have accepted each other for that. Like you
Yeah,
don't try to like change each other or tear each other down. Like you let each other like follow your passions, and you guys are
yeah,
living your passions together and stuff. And I think that's like it's rare, man.
yeah. It's pretty cool. I got lucky. I really did get lucky too because when we started dating, we were 21, and so I mean, I didn't